Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of the Someday Podcast. We are on episode 6. Soon it'll be episode 100. We better be happy for that. Anyways, we have something. We have, as always, different guests every time.
Hello, everybody.
I'm hearing myself. What the hell? Okay. Anyways, yeah. As I was saying, we have different guests, and so this you guys should obviously know since you read the title. Our guest is Conrad. Hello, Conrad.
Hello, everybody.
How are you today? Are you good?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm actually pretty good. I was out and about today earlier before we started this. I was like, "Ooh, I'm not gonna be on time for this," but we're good.
Trust me, we were not, but that's okay because we're here now, and that's what matters.
What were you guys doing before this?
Your mom's car,
Fuck yeah.
typical stuff.
That's
No,
so
we were
fucked up.
no, we were just vibrant in the VC. We played a little bit of some COD, but I'm just been waiting for this all day. If I'm gonna be honest, I'm not even kidding. I've been waiting for this all day.
How long have you been waiting? Besides all day, how long have you been waiting for this? Because I know you might have been waiting for this since like episode 3 with Asshat.
I was actually waiting for this since the maybe episode because we discussed this a while ago, and then contract negotiations stopped. My team and your team didn't really. The contract just wasn't there, But we settled on a pack of M&Ms and a pack of Skittles that were half eaten, and I think that's perfectly fine.
I agree with that. I do agree with that. Okay. Well, you already know how it goes. We should just start by getting straight into it. How does that sound?
That sounds perfect for me.
Okay. Good. I just realized Miggy's here. Hello, Miggy.
Oh, hi, Miggy.
Miggy
Okay,
is
bye,
always here.
Miggy.
Oh, did she leave?
She said she's gonna go die now.
Oh, it's so sad. Okay. Well, let's start by the first question. You have it open though, right?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Okay, sounds good. Sounds good. First of all, how did you get introduced to the server?
Well, I think it's gonna follow most how everyone else. Just playing Left 4 Dead 2, saw a tank run. I'd never played it before because I had grown up playing Left 4 Dead 2 on the Xbox, like I think most people do. But no, I was playing it. I was like, I want to see what this is. I enjoyed it. It was different. Was kind of having to fill it out. Wasn't too fun, but I kept running into two specific people, and that was Svensson and Sketchy. And I ended up playing a few rounds with them, and we were messaging because I wasn't really want to talk, and it wasn't using my mic really at all. I didn't know how to be honest, because I knew to Left 4 Dead 2 on PC, and they invited me to the server, and I kind of just joined. I joined VC, kind of just listened, maybe talked once in a while just to like say something, but mainly was just trying. I was like how the people are now with being mute. But eventually I kind of just started playing more with everyone else, and it's got me here, and I don't regret a second of it. I love being here, so.
That's good to hear. I think a lot of us would agree with that. Being here is truly like I think it would have been a one in a lifetime experience because obviously no people have gotten second chances, Honey being one of them of course, but being here truly is wonderful, and having a lot of people here and jokes to go around and whatnot, and it's kind of built like a family, if you know what I mean.
Oh, no, I know what you mean, because I have a lot of people in the server that I think I've already gotten pretty close to, and they've even welcomed my girlfriend in with open arms. She doesn't play Left 4 Dead 2, but she'll hop in eventually like not in the VC, but she'll be here with me, and she'll say hi, and everyone will be like, "Hey, what's up?" just to see how she's doing, and it's nice. Everyone here is so welcoming and so nice. And then there's the few that I'm like really close with. I won't name names that might be mentioned later down in some of the questions, but it's nice, and I don't think I'd trade this for anything.
I agree. All right. What did you feel like when you entered the server? Like, were you queasy or any of such?
I was just happy to find people to regularly play Left 4 Dead 2 with, if I'm gonna be honest, because I love this game. Like, genuinely, it is one of, if not my favorite games of all time. And my friend group in real life, they don't have it. They don't play it. we've made jokes about them buying it for PC because of some like YouTube videos with all the mods. It looks like a lot of fun, and I keep telling them that. But one thing has led to another. They don't have it, whatnot. And then I ran into, like I said, Sketchy and Sven, and they got in, and I would start regularly playing because everyone would host every other night, and I could just join in, mindlessly play some games. Everyone here is really funny, so it just was a nice situation to fall into, as well as just I love playing the game, but I only like playing it with other people. Playing it by myself just doesn't hit the same. I guess it just isn't the same as it is when I play single player. I don't really care for the game single player wise. Never have. I like playing cooperatively with other people, but
I know, I hear you. I hear you. I think that's I think a lot of people can relate to that. Single player is not I think single player back then was pretty cool, but you know, single player obviously now, and especially if you have like a big group of friends, it just doesn't feel the same, or it just doesn't feel, you know, as lively as it does. But yeah, I know what you mean. I know what you mean. All right. Do you think things might have been any different if you didn't join the server?
yes. Not in the fact that like I think my daily life would almost be the same. To be honest, like I don't think much of that would change because obviously I don't think I would let this influence my daily life. I would be doing the same thing, but being able to pass the time and having another group of friends to talk to and hang out with, and especially my time played, I don't think if I wasn't in the Tater server, I would not be a PC gamer in the slightest. I would hop on Left 4 Dead 2 once in a blue moon to play because I love the game, but because I wouldn't have friends to play with, I wouldn't really want to. I got it for $2 on Steam. It's $2 well spent, but I mean, other than that, like I wouldn't have Gary's mod because I got to play with y'all. I got Minecrafted the same way on PC. There's a lot of things PC wise that I wouldn't do the same, but I wouldn't do differently. It's weird because I think it would be different. To answer the question, point blank period, it'd be different, but not astronomically.
If you were still like, even if you weren't like, because you know, you did say things in your like daily life wouldn't be different, but do you think your humor would still be different, or would it still be like the same? Because I think that's a majority of the humor in Taters that is, you know, evolved from, you know, just shit posts and whatnot.
No, I think I have not changed much. There's a few things you could probably say I've matured in or switched up, just like to accustom certain people in the server. Because obviously there are some jokes that shouldn't be made because some people might be more sensitive to them, and you want to take that into account.
True.
But uh, no, I don't think my humor or anything would have changed. I still shitpost like crazy. I still love dark humor. I still am very, I don't know the word, but I'm very into the comedy that I like, and that hasn't changed. And I think a lot of people could see from when I first joined and first got kind of comfortable in the server to now has not changed much, as well as my friends in real life haven't seen a difference. My girlfriend has not seen a difference. So I don't think it would change me too much. I am me. I love me. Even if I make jokes about not, I'm comfortable with who I am, comfortable with the comedy I make and the jokes I tell. But
Yeah. No, I get you. I get you. How do you feel about Left 4 Dead 2? Because now we're going into the gaming genre, and Left 4 Dead 2, you know, we play that a lot. So,
oh yeah,
what do you feel about
we
it?
we play it a lot, and I love it. It obviously people. It's an old game. It's 14 years old. I think nearly 14 years old. Excuse me. It turns 14 here in a month or so. But it's like I said, I love the game with a lot. It has a lot of memories for me, even when I was just playing on console, playing with my brother, playing with randoms, whatnot. But it holds a special place in my heart. It's probably arguably my favorite game of all time. Like if just not going off story, because that's a whole different conversation. But just playing a game, being able to replay a game, I would say Left 4 Dead 2 because it is probably one of the most replayable games for me ever. And especially having people to play it with helps with that. And I know some people argue that after a while it could get stale, but I think having the right group of people, and then as well as tank run, just that and mods, especially on PC, gives it so much replayability. Now, console-wise, I can't say the same because it's dead on console. You play a game, it's just modded. It's not, but but it's special, just to say the least.
That is true. I can agree with that. It's a lot different. It's a step up, obviously. I think from Left 4 Dead 1, in my opinion. Left 4 Dead 1 was
Hmm.
good. Don't get me wrong, but I think Left 4 Dead 2 is a lot better due to kind of the community. The community is good in some places, except versus. I don't really like versus, but the community I think evolved more in Left 4 Dead 2 than Left 4 Dead 1, and I think that's what makes Left 4 Dead 2 a lot better, or at least somewhat, more of a step up, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, no, I would argue that the same thing. I would say I don't think Left 4 Dead 1 was given the chance to evolve like Left 4 Dead because the game obviously came out like exactly a year later. So I mean, you could throw that into the argument. Well, it's like Left 4 Dead 1 didn't get the chance to evolve, and it probably could have if given the odds or the chances or whatnot. And Left 4 Dead 1 to me is still special. It's not as good to Left 4 Dead 2 in my opinion because obviously the 2 has more to it. It's better this, better that. But I do think Left 4 Dead 1 does better in some aspects, like the lack of weaponry in that game compared to Left 4 Dead 2. Because in Left 4 Dead 2, I saw someone have a good argument that Left 4 Dead 2 feels like a game where you can just pick up a gun, shoot, kill, and that's I love that type of gameplay. But it was a good point. Like obviously you want more weaponry variety because it's I guess more realistic. But in Left 4 Dead 1, there wasn't so many different types of weapons where it was like, well, what if you run out of ammo? It's like, do you just have to go pistols? You can't have you can't have axes, and there's the whole thing with stamina and all that. But I love Left 4 Dead 1 and 2. I'd give 2 probably the edge, but I still love them both.
I agree with that. I agree with that. That's what's up. What got you into Left 4 Dead 2?
Uh, well, I'd have to go back to Left 4 Dead 1 because I played it. So I would say the answer is Left 4 Dead 1, technically, but even then, I guess it would be my uncle because my uncle introduced me to a lot of games like Call of Duty, Halo, Left 4 Dead, because I remember one of the most vivid memories I have back in like 2000, I think 8 or 2009. It was right after Left 4 Dead 1 came out. Was sitting in my grandparents' living room and looking at this game disc that was just green. And I was like, "Wow, that's a weird looking hand." Flipping to the back and seeing the 4 characters back to back shooting, and all the little images of zombies. I was like, "This looks like a fun game." And then playing it eventually falling in love with the game, and then eventually find out there was a second one, and then playing it, and then enjoying it with my brother. Like most games I did, like most games, it was my uncle introduced me to, but then I grew up playing with my brother, uh, and I think that's just the best way I can put it.
I agree with that. I can hear you. I hear that. Uncles are just cool like that, if you ask me.
Hmm.
Is there anything you would change about the Left 4 Dead 2 timeline or any of the campaigns that they went through?
Switching about the timeline or the campaign maps themselves. No, because I think if I was to try and implement something, it would make the map worse or something. I do think they could probably tune a few things like barriers like that if we're going off the actual pure map. Storyline wise though, I think making the maps flow together a bit more, and they did that pretty well with Left 4 Dead 2. Left 4 Dead 1 was the iffy one because it was just map to map to map. The only one that seemed cohesive was No Mercy and Crash Course, and then the other one's just kind of like we're here now. But Left 4 Dead 2 did kind of fix that with like honestly it was the Dead Center and the Passing. You had Jimmy Gibbs and the Dark Carnival, and then after that it was the helicopter crash, and then it just kind of getting more fluctuated. But timeline wise, no, I would love more story, obviously, because I love these characters, but we haven't gotten anything in over 10 years, I'm pretty sure. So I mean, it's whatever.
Yeah. Yeah. I think Valve has a tendency to just stop going, no, no. But
Hmm.
but yeah. How do you feel about the characters in Left 4 Dead 1 and Left 4 Dead 2?
I love them. They are some of the most like not I wouldn't say iconic because obviously if you're gonna ask people like video game characters, they're gonna go, oh, Rio, Doom guy, Master Chief, blah blah blah. They're not gonna be like, oh yeah, Bill from Left 4 Dead. They might because he's in Dead by Daylight now, but most people don't know the Left 4 Dead characters because of Left 4 Dead. They know them from the SFM and the memes, and then they find out about Left 4 Dead through that. But I love the characters. Obviously, like I said, I grew up with them. Them and the COD zombies. protagonist. Those are probably some of the most important characters or special video game characters to me. But I love all of them. Obviously, I could rank them in what order or whatnot, and sadly, I would say, as most people would say, Rochelle is last. But I still appreciate Rochelle. Uh, but no, I love the characters, and I don't think I would change anything about them. But if they were to make Left 4 Dead 3, I would hope those characters would share the exact same, uh, just how special they are.
I think about that Rochelle thing every day. That's the thing. Like I know Rochelle's a meme, kind of like a meme to joke about, but if you really look at it, she's not bad of a character.
No.
I think people just like misinterpret her for like the memes and whatnot. But if you really look at it in like a perspective kind of way, like timeline wise or character wise or personality wise, she's a pretty good character compared to I think well some. I'm not. I wouldn't say she's like top tier, but she is a really good character, and I think people misunderstand that for the memes because if you really do notice, she's good. You got to give her that. You got to give her that she has one of the most amazing like personalities. She's very like lighthearted. She's very supportive. I think she's like I don't know how to describe it, but she's a really good character, and that's what I think most a lot of people interpret her, like no misdirection her about her because she's good though. She's good if you ask me.
Yeah, no, I'd say she's a good character. I think them adding back a lot of her deleted voice lines helped with that because obviously in the back in the day it was fun to kind of trash her or say this or that or make her the punching bag, like the Meg of the group if we're gonna go Family Guy terms. But she's still a good character. Her voice actress is amazing. Uh, you're right. You're right, by the way. Worst Left 4 Dead character is better than best Back 4 Blood character. You are correct. We will get there soon, trust me. But I still love the VA for Rochelle. She's a lovely lady. She also is a great actress, I found out, because other reasons, because of a show my girlfriend loves. But no, I think even though she technically is my least favorite character out of the bunch, because she's the one I'm going to pick the last if I have to pick between the eight, I still appreciate her, and then I still, she's still she's still up there as one of the best.
I agree with that. I agree with it. All right. Is there anything you dislike or something you dislike about the game mechanics in Left 4 Dead 2, such as AI, weapons, melees, or anything like that?
Tanks. Point blank period, tanks. With how much we've had to play tank run, we're not had to, but how much we play tank run, I've seen a lot of issues with the tanks AI compared to the issues I had on console. And obviously, I didn't play PC before the last Giant update, so I'm figuring out off gameplay as well as watching other people and then taking it from them. And as well as like I said, my console gameplay. But I'd never had this many issues with tanks and their AIs and how just stupid they seem in some instances because it just gets annoying after a while sometimes where they do some really stupid stuff or hit me when they shouldn't or some animations that just don't seem like they're working correctly, such as it's doing its little taunt and then it suddenly hits me when I'm at the top of the ladder doing it. It just makes sometimes it makes no sense. And then other AI, I mean, I don't have too many issues with the guns or the mechanics in that regard. Uh, I don't b-hop, so I can't say anything about if there's any issues with that. I'm not gonna be like, I missed the whole second off my run because I hit the wrong key. I can't say anything like that. But only issues I seem to have are tanks, and then if I play versus, it might be latency issues. I hear a lot of people saying it's latency issues, but a lot of times it seems like your infected doesn't hit correctly, or you get hit when you shouldn't. Just stuff like that. It's a lot of the infected stuff, but survivor-wise, I don't see a lot of issues. But
Yeah, I hear you. I think I think one of the things that recently definitely has to be the knife. I mean, the knife is just horrible. I think without mods to make it better, it's very uh, it's not a good weapon in my opinion. I do like the design of it. It looks cool, except you may mistake it for like an adrenaline every now and then. But it looks cool. But the mechanics in it for me, um, not good. It's been modded in the server for to be like actual useful. But if you look at it, if you just use it without mods on, it's really bad. And I think that may be one of the mistakes that they did to uh the recent melee, because they usually have a lot of good ones. I would argue that that the chainsaw is kind of eh. Oh, okay, okay,
Ooh.
good to know, good to know. But back then, not back then, but when it was added, I do remember it being completely useless. But thank you, Toast. All right, let's see here. What is your worst campaign in your opinion? Let's just start off there. Like a campaign you dislike, and why?
Oh gosh, I this is a hard question because I genuinely like playing pretty much all the campaigns. That includes Crash Course and The Last Stand. They're not perfect, but I do enjoy them. And I don't. I know. I know. Going back to your former podcast, which everyone should totally watch when they get the time right after we're done with this one.
Thank you.
Plug it. But no, I know Jen said Hard Rain. I enjoy Hard Rain. I do think the water gets a little annoying. I would probably just out there have to go Crash Course, and that's because of how long the maps feel. Because they are probably a little bit longer than they should be. I think if they split them up or made like into 3 levels, that probably would have helped it. Because it just feels like with how it's just the two. If I'm correct, I'm pretty sure it's just the 2 levels. They feel like they can take a while, and then the last the holdout at the end. I mean, it's different. It's not bad. I just ugh. Sometimes the layout of it does get a little annoying, and then there's always the one person who goes off and tries to hide in a different place. It's just it's not bad. I enjoy it, but it's nothing to Left for Mario.
What is your obsession about Left from Mario? What do you like it so much? I, don't mind me asking, but why?
I just love it because of how stupid it is and how much it riles people up in the server. I'll be brutally honest. I love it just because of that. I don't care for it's not a bad campaign. I enjoy it whenever we play it, especially Tank Run. It is so much fun to play. But it, I just love to make jokes about it and poke people for it because of how stupid it is and how much it gets people riled up because I think people overreact to it. I will say that. I do think people kind of overreact to it. It's not that bad, but at least people shit on it in The Last Stand too much. I will say Last Stand's not perfect, Left for Mario is not perfect, but they are a lot of fun.
I agree with that. I just like how cool it looks. I mean, imagine creating that. It must have been pretty damn hard to create it, obviously. But imagine creating that. You get all like the blocks and whatnot. I like the design of it. It's obviously Mario themed, but I think that's what I like about it. It's difficult though. It's difficult. Go try it. All right. Let's see here. I accidentally scrolled up all the way. Okay. How do you think would oh fuck, sorry. How would you change your worst campaign, which you said Hard Rain though, right?
No, that's shit.
Crash Course, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. How would you change Crash Course if you were like a map designer to make it fit a liking to viewers, to like the gaming players of Left 4 Dead 2?
I would just shorten them. I would shorten because the one issue I've heard the biggest complaint I've heard for it is that it just takes too long, and it does. Like one level feels like halfway through one level you were like, man, it feels like I've already gotten to the next campaign mission or whatnot, because like both of them take us so long. It is a 2-level campaign map, and it just feels like it takes forever. And that pacing, I guess you could say pacing wise, it does drag on for after a while, because you're just like, okay, I feel like there should have been a break in between this and this section, and it's just like,
I hear you. I hear you. All right. How do you think new generations would feel about Left 4 Dead 2? Because 2023, it's evolved. Not, I wouldn't say in the best of ways, but it's evolved. And you know, if someone new were to play it, how do you think they'd feel about Left 4 Dead 2?
it wouldn't. I think they'd enjoy it. I mean, are we thinking about if it was like, if we're thinking about it as like it's a brand new game, and then I think a lot of people would look at like Back for Blood and be like, this is what they should have done if we're just going off like Left 4 Dead 2 came out today. But I think that a lot of people would enjoy it. I do think there'd always be those people that are like complaining this, complaining that, especially with verses and how there's issues in it. People would be like, fix this, patch this, this guy's OP, this gun shouldn't be in this. A lot of people do that because a lot of gamers nowadays are entitled little brats. But that's other issues. That's not the gaming issues. But I think a lot of people would enjoy it. I think a lot of people would think it's a nice breath of fresh air. It's just a fun game, and especially if it came out more like it did, I guess, back in 2009 or whatever. Whenever it was like it was done, and obviously there was DLC or whatnot down the road. But it's just a fundamentally fun game. And there's no loot boxes. There's no microtransactions unless you're on console, and then you had to buy the campaigns. But those are campaigns. That's not like if I spend $20, I can make Bill look like a furry. I can mod that for free on PC. Uh, but I think a lot of people would still find it fun, and that's going off the fact that a lot of people, there's still over, I think, 20,000 current like active players a day or something like that on Left 4 Dead 2, and it's astonishing. And just imagine it if it came out today, a lot of people would love it.
I hear you. I hear you. All right. Is there anything you like about Left 4 Dead 2 or Left 4 Dead 1, and what would that be, and why?
I just love the game. That's the answer. It's like, is there anything I like about them? Yes, the game. I just love the game. I love the just how much replayability it has, especially the AI director. Ooh, the characters are fun and likable. They're funny. They're great to meme. I love just how in the group chat or the Tater server we're like, we could take one line and just make this entire little like 20-minute joke or bit, if you want to go with that. It's just fun. It's just a fun game. It's 2000. It was made in 2009 or late 2010. So if you're gonna go with both games, but it just feels so much better than games coming out today because it's genuinely fun. It does nothing stupid about it, and obviously it's not going to get a lot of updates. Somehow it is getting updates nowadays, like ever so often, but it doesn't need all these little tunes. It's a completed game at this point. Maybe they'll add something every so often, but it's just fun, lovable game, likable characters, very iconic things to it. The infected are just special, how different they are, and how like the music and all these little things. Like, I'm a film nerd and love setting and tones like that, and just like the music, the atmosphere. It just
I hear you. All right. What's your opinion on the timeline in Left 4 Dead 2?
In Left 4 Dead 2, I mean, it's not bad. I mean, it's fine. Nothing too special. It's just like a little, like, this is what happens in this order. Nothing too bad. I would say it ends on a cliffhanger that will never be answered because we genuinely don't know what will happen to the Left 4 Dead 2 cast. Left 4 Dead 1, from our knowledge, Bill's dead. The three are going off on a boat to do their own thing. But the Left 4 Dead 2 cast, we don't know. We will never probably know. But the timeline itself is fine, very cohesive. Not, well, very easy to know what happens if you just go campaign by campaign. So
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. In your opinion, what do you think about the fan base of Left 4 Dead 2 community, including SFM, artwork, workshop creators. Oh God, um, you know, people who play versus everyone included, even newbies.
Shitpost is the first word that comes to mind. Because going off each one, the SFM people are some of the funniest people out there. Some of the SFMs, it's you get two sides of the coin. You either get the what the fuck is happening SFMs, or you get the I'm making a genuine story out of this, and then you have the people that clash that together. So you have the weird ones that are like the dinner one where it's Coach and Nick fighting to see who goes makes dinner. You have the story ones like the just like BG Bean making her SFMs, which God are so good. And then you have the people in the middle of that make tasty cools. There's a story to it, but what the fuck is happening? And then you have the other ones like the players. They seem fine. There are some very toxic people, but that's going to be in every fan base. It just happens Left 4 Dead 2 has a lot of them in verses and stuff like that. That you do one thing wrong, or they think you're doing this, and they'll kick you, or they'll send you racial slurs. Trust me, I've had that happen. It was not the best day. Uh, but I mean, I like a majority of them, especially since the ones I know the most are taters. So I'm gonna be biased. The ones in taters are great, but I think the fan base is fine. It's the same as every other fan base, kinda. So.
I agree. Taters, but yeah, Taters pretty good. Also, fan base. Truly is a fucking shit post. It is. God, I don't even. Where do I start with that? Jesus Christ. It's yeah, the best way you could describe it, shit post. But enough of that. If you were a game designer and could enhance the Left 4 Dead 2 or Left 4 Dead 1 gaming experience, meaning 1 and 2, the games, how would you make it how would you make it better for old players and new players?
I think just making the servers a bit better because, like I said, there's a lot of latency issues, especially in versus, where it seems like you should hit people but you don't. It seems like you shouldn't get hit by something but you did. Like just stuff like that. I think fixing a few things like that would probably be what I would want to do. Just making the game a little bit run more smoothly in some aspects. Obviously, this is a nearly 14-year-old game, so it's not going to be perfect, but still damn near is. But just little things like that, and then I'd say maybe just making a few of the campaigns have a little bit more to it, where like there's like the beginning of one of the levels on Dark Carnival, right after you get through the roller coaster, there's the one where you go out the door, and then sometimes the place will be fenced, you have to go to the left, or it's not, and you go stuff like that, where it's like little subtle changes to make it just a little bit more replayable. Because some campaign levels, and this is kind of introducing the other question you were asked earlier into it, just making a few of the campaigns have a few little fine tunes, like there could be a fence right here, there could be this fence is suddenly not there, just little things to make it feel like every level itself is completely different the next time you play, and they do that really well with the director and sometimes switching little things like that, but just little fine tunes like that and getting better running servers to make latency not an issue.
I agree with that. All right.
The other question
All right. What? God, this next one. This one's gonna be controversial, but for the good reason. What is your opinion on Back for Blood?
they bit off more than they could chew.
True.
That is that is the best way to put it. They bit off way more than they could chew. They completely overhyped the game, and it saddens me to say that because I was one of the people who was very excited for it. I have been wanting a Left 4 Dead spiritual successor game that's really like it for so long because, like I said, it is arguably my favorite game of all time. I would love a Left 4 Dead 3. I would love Back 4 Blood to be a Left 4 Dead 3. But I think they just tried doing too much with way too high expectations. Whether it's the campaign, like I only played the beta, but even the beta itself completely sold me on not playing it. It just there wasn't fun. It really wasn't. The most fun I had on the beta was going outside to the shooting range, right in the menu, and shooting my friend with the guns that were there. That's the most fun I had during the beta, and that's bad for like especially if I'm not the only one who probably felt that. Like a lot of Left 4 Dead diehard fans were like, "This game is going to be so good," but then I had a feeling it wouldn't because I played Evolve, which was Turtle Rock Studios' previous game. I got it one year, played it, and never picked it up again. Like my mom even I think took it back like within like a couple weeks after we got it because me and my brother hated it. It was so bad, which had me worried for Back for Blood. But I had hope because they were very out there with the community. They were very, you know, very vocal and finding out what the community wanted. But once we actually got our hands on the game, it was nothing like we expected. I'll be honest. The card system had no reason to be there. The attachments were a nice little thing. I think that's what they would have done with Left 4 Dead 3 to spice it up because I don't think they would have added a lot of guns. They probably just would have added like attachments, like scopes and stuff. But that and just a lot of the little intricacies of the game just weren't there. Like the infected, just didn't care for them. They weren't iconic. They didn't have the thing that made them special and like a theme. Like when you hear the hunters like little tune or the boomers or whatnot, you know that's gonna be here. With Back for Blood, I had no idea what was coming at me. I just knew this might appear, this might happen. And after playing it the first time I played it on the beta, I just was like, this I'm not gonna get this. I'm not even gonna buy Xbox Game Pass to play this. I have no reason to. I'm not gonna enjoy it. So it just overhyped. Should have not have done as hard much as they did. It should not have been that hard to make the game. It just there was too much to it that just made it that was just unnecessary, and it pains me to say that.
I hear you. I hear you. Do you think Back for Blood could have been any better if they brought any of the old characters back from the previous Left 4 Dead 2 games and whatnot?
No. I've said this before on your first podcast, which everyone should go listen to after they finish this.
I
Plug
love
it.
the plug. I love the plug.
Yeah, no, but I've had this conversation before with you. We've discussed this before. I think that no. I think people would have just seen them as nostalgic cash grabs if Valve was like, yeah, you can use them if you want, and Turtle Rock just wouldn't have used them correctly. I think, yeah, it would have been so not. People would have been like, oh yes, we're getting all these characters back. We're gonna get to hear them talk. We're gonna see their interactions. And then you play the game and you're like, I don't want to play. I don't. Why do I have to? If I play, I want to play Coach. Why do I have to play this character though? Like, I want to play Coach. Why does Coach have to be pulled it? Like, Mom had a double barrel shotgun. She spawned in with that or something like that. And she had certain perks to her. I don't like that type of gameplay. If I want to play a character like COD Zombies or Left 4 Dead, I want to play that character and not be like, well, I can't play this character because the way the team is built, I need the medic. We need a medic. I have to pick the doctor. I don't like the doctor's personality, though. Something like that. I just want to pick a character, customize them how I want, go into the game, and whoever character I pick does not dictate how the team does. Because if, knowing our luck, it would be Francis spawns in with a shotgun, Lewis gets this, Bill gets that, Zoe gets that, and then you have a terrible team combination for the game. Like that would probably be that's probably how the game would turn out. Knowing our luck, could be Coach would have great melee ability, but he might have like a slow. I don't know if that is a negative penalty, but like knowing our luck, he'd be really slow due to his weight. And then Ellis would have this and Rochelle would have that, and you're just like, I don't like that. I love Ellis, but I don't want that perk. It's just with how they did this, the characters and the perk system and all that, it just didn't mesh well, and I don't think they would have done justice to the characters if they added them. Like I think Dead by Daylight, it has Bill, and I don't play Dead by Daylight, and I think Bill might have a few perks specific to him. I don't know if it is. If someone in the chat plays Dead by Daylight, they can let me know. But I don't think that it would have gone over well with them if they brought the Left 4 Dead casts back, because a lot of people would have seen it as a nostalgic cash grab and completely a disservice to those characters.
That's so true too. They they did fucking Back for Blood so bad. I don't know what they were thinking. Again, sorry. I'm going back to the previous question, but they did it so dirty, bro. The fact that again that they overhyped it is saying, "Oh, we're the creators of Left 4 Dead 2." No, you're the creators of sorry, what was the other game that you were talking about that they made?
Evolve.
Yeah. You guys are the creators of Evolve, not Left 4 Dead. Who the fuck do you think you are? Sorry. It's just I don't like them. They're not they had a good, idea and whatnot for it, but I think you're right. They did overhype it and, and whatnot. Anyways, just had to get that out of the way. Do you think that Valve or Turtle Rock Studios, the company that came up with Left 4 Dead, should make a Left 4 Dead 3?
No.
I don't think they should make Left 4 Dead 3 because I don't think they would do it correctly. I would love a Left 4 Dead 3. I just think that with how the gaming market has changed, I think Valve would be like, well, we have to do this for it to appeal to younger audiences, and I don't think it would be the product that everyone wants. And that pains me to say, because like I said, I would love a Left 4 Dead 3, but I do think they should remaster Left 4 Dead 2. I think Valve should completely remaster the game, and like it's a one-time purchase, and then I've had the thought before, like they remaster the game so everything's redone, like better graphics, better this, better AI, better blah 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 blah. And then once you buy the game, you would have pretty much all the DLC already on it. And while they probably wouldn't add more to it, like campaigns or weapon like that, they could, to keep the game fresh, do like they did with the mutations back when the passing came out, where there's a new one. I think it was every week, and to keep it even more fresh, they could make it to where the community gets to a community created mutation will eventually be thrown into the mix. So every week there's a new community made mutation or Valve made mutation. And while there's already all the old mutations like Tank Run, they could make they could add Smite or Spite or Witch Run, one that's correctly tuned, into the mutation pool every week, and once it's out, it's added to the mutation thing. So like just something maybe every other week or every month, just something to keep the game kind of like, hey, they are still working on it in the sense of they're doing stuff for the community, not like this is broken. No, it's not a fixed game. It's not done at launch. So they're having to work on it like every other damn game at this year or at this time. But just remastering Left 4 Dead 2, so all Left 4 Dead fans have something new, as well as it would bring back so many people in the player base, especially if it ran as well as it did or it does, but even better. Like it would make a lot of money. I do think that, especially since a lot of people would be upset that it's not Left 4 Dead 3, but just it would be really nice, especially since I do think they would fix a lot of things and they could add new things, as well as I do think it eventually would get the Steam Workshop, which imagine a Left 4 Dead 2 group, not group, but like community in 2023 making stuff in the community tab for the workshop. Like there would be all sorts of stuff. People would be bringing back their old mods, or like it could carry over somehow. They could do that, and there'd be so many more people making mods now. It'd be awesome. The community would be thriving. It would just be so much fun, especially since this is going to be really funny. I think the Tater server would thrive as well. We'd get a lot of new members, as well as it would generate so much hype within our own community, where a lot of people who haven't been able to play in a bit or just haven't really wanted to play in a bit would be like, you know what? I'm gonna start joining back and playing this more.
That's so true too. God, God, I don't know how to describe it any better because you've described it perfectly for me, or perfectly. But God, that's so true too. All right, what makes a player hate a game in your opinion?
Not fun, not completed. I hate to say it because I know Jen said Back for Blood, and I don't think just saying it being Back for Blood is that. I just think a game not being finished at release is a big gripe nowadays, and I completely agree with it because if I'm gonna buy a game that looks as fun as, let's say, Cyberpunk, it looks like a lot of fun, but when it came out, a lot of people hated the product, and now it's thriving. It looks great. It's running great, but it's been so long after it released that a lot of people have gone and released like this is never going to get fixed. They made up their mind. They were done with it. But I think a lot of people, it comes down to if the game is fun, if it's replayable, and if the creators are still keeping up with it, or if the like just it depends.
I agree with that. I agree with that. All right. God, I am looking at this whole Google Doc thing. I'm getting confused. I'm like, wait, where did I last leave off? Did I leave off here? Did I leave off there? I'm like, Jesus Christ. Okay. I should have probably made it more organized whenever I did this. Um, what can the game creator or gaming company do to change how a game is if the audience isn't liking it?
Uh, Communicate that they're working on it, and then I would say rather do it. I'd say do it. This is gonna be very specific. Do what No Man's Sky did. Because the game was very broken at first, but I would say the only thing I would say is communicate with your communicate with the community first. Like be like, hey, we know we are not living up to your expectations. We are going to fix this for you. Tell us what you want, and we'll kind of we will work our way there. And we'll put a bunch of just if we're saying like a game creator or gaming company is changing a game because it's not fun, then I would say they need to definitely communicate, because if a lot of people are not seeing the creators communicate and they're just working behind the scenes, they're obviously doing their job and getting it fixed, but they're not letting people know. A lot of people are like, they just don't care. They took the money and ran. But I think communicating with the community is the first place to start, because that means a lot to some people, and then pushing out little updates every so often to let them know, hey, we're working on this, we did this, and we're looking to do this. I know people hate roadmaps, but I do think if you're trying to fix a game, putting a roadmap and sticking to it, not suddenly being like, well, no, we had to push like Halo Infinite. Well, we had to push Forge and co-op campaign down the road to the 3 seasons later than we meant, but it's coming. And then like it gets there and you're like, well, next season. That's not going to fly with the community. That's why I've given up on Halo Infinite. I don't care for it. I've gone back to playing the Master Chief Collection and playing like Reach and stuff, because it's a fun game. And especially if a community or has the ability to go back to a previous game installment, they're not going to stick to the new one like a Halo game or even a Call of Duty game. But
Yeah, that's true. They're not. They're just not. All right. If God again losing my I where am I? I don't know where I am. Okay, there I am. Is there a specific game that isn't Left 4 Dead 2 that you enjoy playing? And if so, what does that game have that makes you like it so much? Or what does it do? Or whatever.
Red Dead Redemption 2, and it is arguably one of the greatest video game stories of all time. That is why. And if we're going to go off other games, I will say specifically Call of Duty and its zombie modes, specifically World at War through Black Ops 3 and Cold War. I love Cold War. People hate it. I love it. But no, it's Red Dead because it looks fucking amazing, and it has arguably the greatest or one of the greatest or best stories in video game history, as well as Arthur Morgan's one of the best characters in video game history, in my opinion. And then COD Zombies, it's like Left 4 Dead. I know it's very similar, I know, but I grew up with it as well. I love it. I love the characters. I love the gameplay, especially with friends. But it's just games like that. And I know Left 4 Dead and COD Zombies are kind of similar in the fact that it's 4 people doing this and that, but in completely different ways. But it's still fun to me.
I hear you. I hear you. How do you feel about the special infected characters in the Left 4 Dead franchise? Like, they're obviously cool in their own way. They're unique. They have their own cool designs. There's obviously, the smoker and his big ass like tongue hanging out, the fat boomer, the spitter's weird appearance. Like, God, I don't even know where to start with that. And the hunter, jockey, obviously. But what do you think about it?
I mean, I don't think there's much to say, because I mean, it's like they're cool. They're so cool, and they're different. They add a little bit of variety to the game, because most zombie shooters are like, oh, it's a bunch of mindless zombies. Wow. And then like Left 4 Dead, you're like, oh shit, that one's jumping off the walls. That one's tongue is hanging under the gun. That one has, that's just fat. And then it pukes on you. Like, that's what I expected. But they're just cool. They're different. They're very unique. I love the music. They're very eerie to look at up close. They're really cool. Cool mutations. I think that some of them are very iconic in some manners, but I mean, I don't have much to say about them other than that.
I hear you. God, I need to stop saying that. How many times have I said that? Please, I need after this. I'm gonna need to do a counter and just go through every fucking podcast and go, oh wait, I said I hear you there. I hear you there. I hear you. I hear you. God, if you were stuck in the Left 4 Dead 2 apocalypse, what would you do to survive? Probably die.
Okay, first of all, you are saying it a lot, and I'm just kind of laughing. I'm holding it in whenever you start getting to a question because I'm trying not to because there's little feedback from my mic to yours. But no. Speaking of what I would do to survive, I wouldn't die because that's completely ruins the question. What I would do to survive is if I am, let's say, immune to the virus, I would obviously try to find people to live like to surround with that I trust, or like surround myself with people I trust that are also hopefully immune, as well as I would try to live out my life as much as I could without fucking dying, as well as trying to avoid any contact with infected individuals. What Coach and them say in the intro, but no, I would say I'd try to stick to myself and the people I have around me that are hopefully immune. And then as well as try not to engage with anything or make too much noise. I've also grown up watching The Walking Dead, so I kind of have an idea of how I would go around things. Try not to go into too many populated areas that I know would probably be overran, and especially try to look out for the big uns like tanks and stuff like that. The special infected, definitely try not to, as well as try to stay as quiet as possible. Food wise would be fun. I've had a dream of a zombie apocalypse in my town actually. So I've had ideas of like casually walking to Walmart, which is like 20 to 30 minutes away, stuff like that. But like doing it in like in a certain way to keep away from the roads and stuff like that, as well as trying to avoid infected, but stay in good enough shape to not get outran by a zombie. But stuff like that.
I think I would just die. Not as in like purposely get eaten, but I think I would just like I don't think I'd be
Caleb
able to.
click.
No, I don't think I'd be able to survive it. I mean, I'm
Mm.
I'm not the most athletic or the strongest. Um, I'm definitely not the smartest, but you get what I mean. I'm not.
Yeah.
I think that's how a lot of people would do. I remember asking this back in the old one, and everybody was all like, "Oh, die, we die." Anyways, God, who was the first person you met when you were about to join the server, and do you still talk to them?
Well, like I said, it was Sketchy and Sven. And not really. Sven hasn't been active at all, or at least not when I'm active, but I'm active a good amount. So not talking to Sven much. Sketchy, not at all, almost either, because she's not active either. She did randomly join Jin and I the other day while we were watching videos, because we have been just doing late night video streams where we were watching I think that we were watching Mandela Catalog at that point. Sketchy joined. Yeah, we were. And so Sketchy, every once in a blue moon. Sven, not really. He has his own thing he's doing. So, but
I hear you. Fuck! God! Ah!
there.
What do you think? What do you think about the tank run game mode, and what makes you love, like it, or hate it so much? Asshat.
I love it just because it's fun to play with friends. That's really it. I I probably wouldn't play it too much by myself because after a while it would get a little annoying. But being able to play with, especially with how many people we can have in a game on Bug server. Shout out to Bugs. Uh, but it's fun to play with a lot of people, especially because it's just fun to kind of just play the map. Have fun. Occasionally there's a few moments where someone like Asshat or I will get upset because we were rightfully bullshitted. But I mean, it's just fun to play with friends, especially when something really funny happens, like you witness someone get hit like a long distance suddenly out of nowhere, or someone gets snapped by a rock, or like their reaction depending on who the person is. It's just stuff like that.
Yeah. I no.
Mm?
I don't even know. You you basically said exactly what I was thinking, so I don't have much to go off of. But thank you. Yeah, I agree with all that, 100%. Do you prefer custom mutations like tank run, special delivery, rather than other stuff like survival campaign or versus?
Yes and no. It depends, because if I had to play something, it would probably end up being campaign, maybe, or tank run. It's one of those two. I don't like versus. I haven't liked versus in a hot minute. Survival can be fun, but most of the time it'll be campaign or tank run. We obviously play tank run the most, but I do love going back to campaign every once in a while, especially campaign. Uh, but I mean, it just depends on the mutation. It depends on the campaign or whatnot. Just depends on what game mode is selected.
Is there anything you do to change the tank run mutation? I was muted. God, I sorry. I don't know. I was like I said something and you weren't saying anything. I was like, wait, am I? I'm fucking muted. What the
Oh,
fuck? But yeah, is there anything you do to change the tank run mutation? Like if people hate it or love it.
yeah. No, I thought I was about to make a joke that you died, or your shitty McDonald's Wi-Fi went out. But tank run wise, I would just fix the tanks. That's really it. Maybe fix a few of the little locations and some places on some of the maps. I would maybe on like hard rain and the passing level 2. I would definitely make some adrenaline drops more frequent, because it feels sometimes some of the maps genuinely are unbeatable unless you get a lucky turn, or just little things that would maybe help the survivors possibly make it through a level, but not like guarantee. Yeah, you got 17 adrenalines and you're good to go. Not like that, but just fixing the tank AI, making them work better on some maps, and then as well as just making some of the levels function better and how they flow.
I
You
agree
hear
with
me?
that. I agree with that. I hear you. Okay. What were you feeling when you were about to enter the game, the tank run mutation? Because I don't know. Oh, here's the thing. Some people just play tank run like out of the blue, but other people, go on campaign and then see bugs on there. But if you're like a tank run player, even the first like okay, so picture it like this: Bugs is about to host for the first time, like, or not the first time. He's about to host tank run, and you have no idea what that is. So you're like, okay, I'm gonna go join to see what that is. How did you feel?
Well, I mean, the first time Bugs hosted Tank Run, I knew what Tank Run was. I just didn't know who Bugs was. And then I found out very soon that he was the creator of the Tater server, if I'm not mistaken. But I would say whenever I first found Tank Run, I think I accidentally thought it was Tank, where like it's all the tanks and all that. I did think I might have thought that. I can't recall. It's been over a year. I think I was just what I was doing is I was trying out the new mutations that I didn't recognize. I knew I chose. I think Rocket Man was the first one I chose because it looked fun, and then I got into a map on No Mercy, and it was like, this is so fucking weird. And then I found Tank Run, and I think it was just like run from tanks, and I was like, you know what, I will try it. And then I think within that day or the next day, I was like, I didn't give it a fair shake. I'm gonna really try to play this game correctly, and then I ended up running into Sketchy and Sven. But I wasn't weirded out or anything like that. It's hard to get weirded out when you're playing Left 4 Dead. With some, unless you're looking through the Steam Workshop, then it's very easy. Uh, but I don't think I was weirded out or anything. I was just wanting to try something new, see what was different from PC than on console. and I eventually landed on Tank Run, and the rest is history. So, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I hear you. Fuck. Oh! I hate myself. Okay. How do you feel about? Oh, how do you feel about The Last Stand? Because a lot of people hate it. Some people love it. I think I remember you saying that you don't hate it. You thought it was pretty good, like Crash Course and whatnot. So, but what do you think about it?
It's not bad. I have no issue with it. I mean, it's. I also was one of the people who grew up with it as a survival map. So I mean, getting it as a campaign was kind of cool, actually, in my opinion. It's not perfect, like not even close, but it's still fun. It added it gave us a new update that showed that Valve wasn't like this game's completely dead, but it gave that as well as it added a little bit of hype to the community. It didn't do much. It just gave, I think, reworks, new animations. It gave us the Rochelle's voice lines that made her an actual interesting character because she was kind of before that, and then as well as it made someone like me who was on console be like, I need to get it on PC. I gotta play it. It must be, doing better. And obviously, it is doing better on console than on PC. But it was a good update. It's a decent campaign map. I wouldn't say it gets way more hate than it should. The update itself did add a few issues, obviously, with some of the AIs and stuff. But that's whatever at this point. It's I'm just glad that the game still gets love every so often, that the community for it is still doing good, and that they're still loving the game, even 13 to 14 years later. But I mean, no, I don't hate the map. I think it's overhated. I think we should be a little more lenient on it. It's not perfect, I get it, but it still has its moments.
That's so true. It's so true. I hate me or love it. Wait, no. What? Hate it or love it. I think it's a good map. I don't. It does have some flaws about it, I would say. Um, try telling this to Noel or Toast. They're gonna be like, oh, it has a lot of flaws. It's slow. It's the fucking the generator thing. You guys are really smart when it comes to that. But in my opinion, I think it's a good map. I don't have any problems with it, as you said. All right. How do you feel about Valve not releasing newer games to their prequels like Half-Life 2, TF2, most notably Left 4 Dead 2?
I'm gonna say something controversial. I don't exactly care. In some instances, I have never played any of their games other than Left 4 Dead 2. And that might be a little controversial. I played Gary's mod, but that doesn't count. That I don't think that's really theirs. And I've played I think the Half-Life 2 stuff that we play, I don't know what it's called. I forget the name of it on Gary's mod with like the tank run and all that. That's fun, but Half-Life, Tank Run or not Tank Run, Team Fortress 2, and all the other games that they might have. I feel for their communities, and I hope they get something new. Except, didn't Half Life just get a fucking VR game? What? That's Half Life Alex.
Yeah,
But I
they
mean,
did.
yeah, I don't care too much in the fact that I've stopped concerning myself over that because I'm like I've trying to give it up at the point where like we're not getting anything new for Left 4 Dead 2. Obviously, even a comic or a book would be nice, but I don't care anymore because I don't think we're getting anything. Now, if I wake up tomorrow morning and there's a Left 4 Dead 3 or Left 4 Dead 2 remastered trailer, even like a book announcement or can't like a something announcement or an update, I'm gonna do a fucking backflip and then snap my neck doing it. But I mean, I've kind of given up on the fact that we're gonna get anything brand new, completely new, not just like a little update or community update. But I mean, I'm indifferent about it. I've kind of given up hope almost on the fact we're gonna get anything completely new or anything added. But I do feel for the other communities, and obviously I would love something new for Left 4 Dead 2. But I'm at the point where like I'm happy with where it is. Do I want something new? Of course, but I'm not gonna revolt or do anything too over extreme to get it or beg for it.
All right. We're gonna go with the question. Sorry, Jen, I forgot to ask you this on your podcast, but it's a question that I've been running. I hope you know what it is. It's a question that I've asked Nick, maybe Asshat Junk, but not Jen. All
Not
right.
Jen.
So I will ask Jen soon, and then I'll probably make
YouTube short.
yeah, like a YouTube short. God, I made a YouTube short. Or at least I tried to. But anyways, we're getting off topic. Um, if you were trapped in a room with 110-year-olds or 100-year-olds, which one would you take?
In a fight, right?
Yes, in a fight.
Uh, Either or. I will kill all of them. I do not care. Do I get anything out of this, or am I just beating the shit out of them to beat the shit out of
It's
them?
life or death situation.
So I'm fighting 110-year-olds or 10 100-year-olds.
Yes, you get to either decide 110-year-olds or 10 100-year-olds.
I would probably say the 100-year-olds would be a little easier because they're a lot more feeble. So I'm gonna go the 110-year-olds because it'd be a lot more fun. Also, because it'd be rip and tear, fuck it, Doom style to these 10-year-olds. It'd be fun. No, I wouldn't care. I think obviously people would go with the 100-year-olds. It's less numbers. They're a lot more feeble. They're easy to beat, unless they're in like amazing shape, which still poke them and they're turned to dust. I just think the 110-year-olds would be a lot more fun.
That I can agree on. All right. How do you feel about the custom servers in Left 4 Dead 2? This is going to be the last question for now, and then we can see if anybody in chat wants to answer anything. There's obviously, more.
Mm-hmm.
But, I don't want things to be too long. I like when, the stream continues and, we add that I get a lot of, people answer more than just like one thing. And, like if I say something like, what do you think about the last 10? And they go, good. Like, I'm glad you're giving more than one answer. That's not to say anybody else is given more than that. But yeah, if you guys have something to say about like that, whenever I bring you on the stream or whatever, just speak your mind. Don't hold back or anything. You can speak your mind. It's fine. All right. So last question. Well, actually, you know what? We're gonna skip over this question. It's not that good. So, what do you think of new people that join the server?
I mean, there's so much to that because it's hit or miss. Because I can go. I mean, I could answer specific people, but I don't want to call anyone out. It just depends on the person. Are we gonna go with the people that are actually interact with us, or join the server for 3 days and then dip? Or do we just want to talk about the people actually in the server? Because I mean, the people in the server are fine. But the new people, I mean, there's a few, and I'm not going to name anyone, that will join the server, and they seem fine at first, but then they might do something, especially to like someone I know, and then I'll immediately be like, I want to kill this person or get them out of the server. Not kill them, no, but there's been a few people that you'll find out behind the scenes are really weird, or will say something. There was one guy I know a little bit ago when we got into a new game we were going to try out, and we ran into him or her, ran into them on the game, and they were pretty good at the game, I won't lie. And then we invited them to the server, and they were just full of it, and it just annoyed me. So I have no issue with new people in the server. People are more welcome to join. I just don't be arrogant. Don't be a douche. Just treat everyone with love and respect. Be a friend. Make jokes. Don't make too many really bad jokes, and especially do not slide into the DMs of some of the people in the server and try to hit on them. It's just weird, dude. It's not worth it. So I mean, I think out of every quote unquote new person, I don't think any of them have really stuck or really joined in. If there are, you can tell me. I think the most recent person, and I don't even know how long they've been in the server, that I've actually hit it off with is Jen. And even then, I think she's been here for a bit. But other than that, I can't think of anyone who's joined more recently than her. But
Definitely has to be Ziz or Strawberries. I think
yeah,
they're one of the most recent people I can think of. But if not Jen, I honestly think it might be Ziz or Strawberries, because they go like hand to hand. It's I don't know how to describe it. They join, I think, both at the same time. But in terms of like who talked and who didn't talk, like I'd obviously say probably Strawberries if you think about it.
yeah. No, I don't know who's joined most recently. I don't keep up with it. No, I'd say Ziz and Strawberries. They're cool. They don't. I mean, we can make the joke that Ziz is British. There's nothing wrong with that. Strawberries, she's nice. There's nothing wrong with her. And then people in the server itself. There's obviously there's no one that I think I have an issue with. But no, out of everyone recent, the few people that stick, they're very nice. They're very cool. Strawberries says you're cool. Jen, she's cool. Like everyone's cool. And then people who were in the server before them that were probably in the server before around the time I got in. Cool. I have a few people specifically that I hit it off with very well and I'm very close with, or I can talk to. Like you're one of them. Obviously, I'm in the podcast right now, or else there's a chance I wouldn't be if we didn't hit it off as well as we have. But no, the people in the server are awesome. There's obviously a few I prefer, not prefer. That's the wrong word. But there's a few people that I'm a lot closer with. But I mean, that's just part of it. There's, like I said, no one I really have an issue with. There's a few people I've had not, I'd say issues, but like a little back and forth with over some things. But that doesn't mean I hate them. I don't hate anyone in the server. Everyone in the server is fine.
I hear you. Well, that was the last question. We're gonna wait to see viewers. This is the part. Yeah. Okay, you did it for me. Thank you, Jen. Anyways, this is the part where you guys can ask any questions. If there's no questions to be asked, I'll ask you one more question. If nobody answers in like the next 5 minutes or so, and then we can call it there, and I can send you off.
Yeah.
So we'll wait a bit. Um, anything you wanna tell me, Conrad? While we wait or anything. Anything you have to say or whatever?
Not say, I don't think there's anything that really is like, oh, I have to say this. I will say one thing that does surprise me, and this could change based off if anyone asks questions, and I don't know if anyone will. I'm surprised there was no questions about my girlfriend. I will say that because there's been people in the server who have been asking questions every so often. If you have any questions you want me to ask about, she's not here right now. She's at work. There's that, but no, there's nothing I really need to say. I just want to say, I guess, thank you for having me on the podcast. This has been a lot of fun. And then I will throw it to you if you want to ask any of the questions that are left for one final question, and to anyone in the chat who would like to ask. But other than that, I have nothing more to add other than like, subscribe, hit that notification bell for the next podcast in 3 months.
Oh my god.
No, go back and watch the former podcast. Be excited for the next podcast. I don't know who the guest is. I can't give you any hints or clues, but I look forward to it, as well as I guess just have a good day to everyone if no one's gonna ask any questions. And then yeah, this has been fun. You hear me?
I hope next podcast we may, just may, get either Miggy or Toast or Bugs.
Ooh.
I think I for Miggy it'd be like I don't know. It's gonna be difficult, but I'll get there. Toast, obviously, I know what to ask him. He's very very intellectual about a lot of mechanics and techniques and map designing and a lot of flaws about different games and whatnot. Bugs, I would love to ask him and see how he felt and how he made making the server, because he's done a lot. Jesus, like this started from just, I think, him, Sloth, and Alexia, and he's risen it to at least more than 50 people, if not more than 50 people. Probably like I don't know. There's a lot of people. I think there's like 193.
Damn.
I know that surprises me. I never would have thought it would have been able to happen, but things like that happen. Jen, go to question.
One thing I will say before Jen has a question is, I would say for the next pod, I would say try to get Bugs as 10. I don't know why. Once you hit 10, that feels like a milestone. I think Bugs has to be a very special one, as he is the admin and the creator of Taters. And I would also say possibly getting more people into a single podcast. So you could have a podcast with like me and Jen, or Toast and me, or Toast and Nick, or just multiple people, or even like your first podcast, the other one, not the Someday podcast, the first one we had where we had like all the people. We could do something like that, but have like this nice little graphic of us all at the table, something like that. As well as, this is one thing I want to throw out. I want to host you on the podcast, if that's okay. You need to be answering these questions. We need to get inside your mind and figure out what does Astro like about Left 4 Dead and the Tater server.
I'd love to. I'd love to. I don't get to express much. I usually do mostly all the questioning because um if it's a live, I'm not gonna if it's a podcast, I'm not gonna be like saying, "Oh, I want to discuss my opinion on this too," because you know it's a podcast. I'm more concerned about the person speaking rather than me. So I'm like, gotta let them talk first. Maybe I can have time to talk, you know, later. But if you would like to have me on your podcast, I would love to be on there. Honestly, I'd whatever you have to say or ask me on there. Yeah.
What would be your podcast? It's just I would be asking. No, I'm not gonna. Oh fuck! What a question from Jen.
Oh my God. I should have asked that. I think I asked that one to
Oh.
Nick one time, but yeah, Conrad, Jen. Thank you, Jen, for that question. Who is your favorite controversial Taters member that is now banned? By Jen.
Banned by Jen. I will say I haven't interacted with a lot of the banned people in the server, other than one, and I personally didn't have too much of an issue with him personally. But there's a certain person that was banned, and we do kind of make little comments about them, and I'm not going to name them or him, her, his, she, he, blah. Because if they were to watch this, they would probably comment or make comments, because I think they've viewed some of these before, or someone's channel before. But there was one member, and I think you know who I'm referring to, because it's the only one I've interacted with, and we made a joke with this for the TK1 final boss.
I do
Is that
remember.
uh-huh. I'd say he is the only one that all the band people are pretty much he's the only one I interacted with, and while I personally didn't have any issue with him, I know of some of the issues that happened, not all of them, and that has influenced my opinion on this person. But I mean, I still personally didn't have an issue with it. That doesn't mean I like them or they're my favorite. I don't think any of the controversial former members that are gonna be a favorite of mine. But yeah, no, I personally didn't have any issue with this person, but I mean, I still don't. Yeah.
Ooh, I met a lot. I'm not gonna, you know, you can't. I'm not obviously gonna name them, but sheesh, in my time being there, I've met every single one. Not a good experience. Not something I should really gloat about, but whew, some rotten eggs.
No, I would assume you've known a lot of them, because I mean you've been in the server a lot more than me, a lot longer than me, as well as you're probably seen as one of the staples, I would say, of the server. I think there's some people that are seen as like the staples of the or the pillars of the server. I think obviously it's you and Bugs. I think Bugs is obviously the number one guy. He's the one who made it. I think Bugs and you, because you are probably the two that host the most. And then after that, it kind of, you have to really have a conversation about it. But I think, I don't know, who would we say are the pillars or the staples of the Tater server other than you and Bugs? And when I say this, I can't. I'm sorry. I don't know if we can include some people that were there at the beginning, because I mean, when I say staple, I mean people who have been here as longest and who are the most noticeable or most frequently active. So I think you and Bugs are up there. I would say Nick and Toast are getting there. I would say Jen, is, even though she hasn't been here as long as I think me, is getting up there. She's already, I think, a mod. So congrats, Jen.
Maybe, definitely, or
maybe,
Honey,
yeah. Or who?
or Honey. Honey
Yeah.
has jokes about her, about the cats and whatnot. So I think
Yeah.
she's also, you know, maybe one of them.
I think you and Bugs. I would say Honey maybe. Nick and Toaster up there. I would say Big Iron would be up there, but he's only recently been kind of active. When I was first getting into the server and he was really active, I would have put him up there, but after a while he just kind of wasn't as active, so I don't know if I could really peg him up there, but uh no, I'm not gonna unironically we should do a Taters tier list.
There's one
uh
out there that I put in one of the videos that Toast made, and
yeah.
there's a lot of people on there. I'd say most memorable people I can name, like right now, I would go Bugs, me, you, Jen, maybe Noel, Nick, Toast, Honey, and there. I'm probably missing a lot more. Ziz, Strawberries. I said Honey, right?
Yeah, she was like the third or fourth person I think you mentioned. I would argue that I'm not up in there. If we had to, I think it'd be like A or B tier, low A tier. I do think there's. I don't want to say full myself. I'm like, yeah, I'm one of the most. I do think there is a level to where like I'm not up there with the Taters greats or whatnot. I do think a lot of people know who I am because of how active I am. I do think there's a few people that might be annoyed with me. I'm not gonna name names. They should probably know who they are. But I do think that like even like I don't host. I've hosted I think like twice and only one of them was successful. So I need to work on that. But if I had to go with like noticeable people in a tier list, Bugs is probably in a tier of his own, and then you're the next tier, and then it'd probably be within the tier pause within the tier. It would probably be like Toast, Nick, maybe Honey. You could maybe bump one of them down. Maybe I don't even think that not maybe herself, but maybe one of them. I don't know. But I don't know. We'd have to discuss this and do its own thing. But I will say, Jin, do you or anyone else have any other questions for me, or even Astro, if we want to have an Astro and I banter time?
I don't. I don't have any questions. Actually, just one, and then I'm gonna call it there.
Okay.
How did you and your girlfriend meet, if you don't mind me asking?
College, college, plain and simple. We met our freshman year of college in 2021 because we had the same class together. And there was one day where it's a film class, so I was with my professor in the I guess computer lab we have on the campus where I was editing. I went and shot a video for him for it's actually a commercial for like a park or something nearby. And I was editing it for him, and she walked in because she was going to talk to him, and then he was like, "Do you want to watch this?" And she said, "Yeah." And then he started talking to the other person there, so it was just her and I talking, and we just kind of started talking about our pets. And then she kind of watched me edit, and then afterwards, I went outside and I was sitting there waiting for my grandma to come pick me up, and then she walked out and she thought I looked. She tells me this all the time. She thought I looked really sad. So she went over and she's like, I don't want you sitting by yourself. I'm gonna sit here and wait for your grandma with you. And so she sat with me and we started talking. And then she gave me her Snapchat. We were talking. She did have a boyfriend at the time. I will say that we did not immediately start dating. But we were really good friends. We were talking, and then earlier this year, we just hit 100 minutes. Earlier this year in January, I will say her and her boyfriend are having issues, and I don't like him, obviously. So they broke up, and then shortly after, we did eventually get together. And then I will say one thing that really helped us at the beginning of the relationship was my grandfather actually passed away in January. I don't need any sad things or whatnot, but and we had a moment where we really bonded with that experience. It brought us closer, and it really helped us. And then we've been great ever since. Our fucking 9 month is a week from tomorrow, so it's been going great. It really has. But I would say meeting her has been genuinely one of the best experiences, as well as y'all have treated her so well. Like even with you guys literally just saying hi to her, it means a lot to her because she's very introverted and she always will make comments like, well, I've always been like, you want to say hi? And she's like, your friends are going to hate me. And y'all don't. And that's really, genuinely, really nice of you. And it means a lot to her. So, yeah, I just want to say thank you to you and everyone else, especially Jin. And strangely enough, Miggy, because Miggy was the first one to start saying hi to her a lot. But I want to say thank you to all for being so accepting of her, and hopefully, she'll join VC once because she's technically in the server now. And Jen made her name Conrad's GF actually. So, yeah,
That'd be very nice. I think that'd be very nice to see and hear here. Well, that looks like that might be it for this episode of the Someday podcast. I would like to say thank you a lot for coming on, Conrad, and
of course.
being
Thank you for
here.
having me.
Mm-hmm. And and thank you for answering all the questions. Speaking your mind and whatnot about it. Very nice having you on here.
Mhm.
And thank you guys for watching this. Whoever stuck along for this long, I think. Oh God, if you guys hold on, if you guys stick around for this long, Jesus fucking Christ, this has been like an hour and 40 minutes. How do you stick around for that long? That's my question. Do you just you obviously pause it here and then and whatever. But how the fuck do you? God, I probably shouldn't be cursing. YouTube stream, I'm gonna get demonetized. But yeah, thank you, Conrad, and yeah, I will see you guys in the next Someday podcast episode, which will maybe be in not 3 months. And yeah, bye guys. Bye, Conrad.
Yeah.